Hello, everybody. Come on in. We are continuing our series on the Dan Markel case. Um, I know it's been a few days since I have continued on with the episode, but there's been a lot of things going on in the Sebastian Rogers case. I have been spending a lot of time on that. But I haven't forgotten the Dan Markel case. This is the case that keeps on giving, right, folks? I mean, it just doesn't end. But before we get into that, I do want to talk about Emma Baum. She's been missing from Gary, Indiana since October 10th. She was 9 months pregnant and 1 centimeter dilated at the time she went missing. So she probably has had her baby by now. She also has 3 other small children, and her family wants her home, guys. This case has not gotten enough notoriety in the press, and so if you know anything, please go on my community board, share this picture, get it out there. Let's get her home. I have talked to or emailed the Gary Police Department. They were very nice, sent me back information. They do have a person of interest. And they will turn it into a crime investigation when she's found. So they were very, very encouraging, very nice. They're actively working the case. I thought it was her brother, but it's her sister. And so they're heartbroken, guys, and they've been out there boots on the ground looking for her. So I just wanted to put that out there, and I'm going to on every one of my videos until she is home. Okay, because she needs to be found. She needs to be brought home to her children, to her family. And then, of course, there's Sebastian Rogers, who is now 16 years old, disappeared from his home in Hendersonville, Tennessee, late evening hours of February 25th or early morning February 26th. He's 5'5", weighs 110 pounds, wears black square rim glasses. Please, if you know anything, if you know something, say something, okay? All right, without any further ado, we are going to get into the Dan Markel case. Just kind of give you a little bit of an overview as I do on each one of my episodes for this case. Dan was born October 9th, 1972. He was a Canadian-born attorney and a law professor. He wrote various works on retribution and criminal law and sentencing, with a focus on the role of punishment in the criminal justice system. And justice is being done in his case, which is kind of incredible if you think about it. At the time of his death, he was a professor at the Florida State University. He was unalived in Tallahassee, Florida, he died July 19th, 2014, but he actually was hit by a pew-pew on July 18th. It was a M for hire, unaliving for hire, motivated by child custody issues following his divorce from Wendy Adelson. Wendy was a clinical law professor at the same university that Dan worked at the time. Okay. 4 individuals have been convicted in the case. Charlie Adelson, who is Wendy's brother, was convicted of first-degree unaliving, conspiracy to commit unaliving, and solicitation of unaliving, and sentenced to life in prison plus an additional 30 years each for the conspiracy and solicitation convictions. Sigfredo Garcia, shown right there. He was found guilty of first-degree unaliving and conspiracy to commit unaliving and sentenced to life in prison. Catherine McBanawa had a mistrial. But then on the retrial, she was found guilty of first-degree unaliving, conspiracy to commit unaliving, and solicitation of unaliving, plus 2 consecutive 30-year sentences. Okay. Today, we are going to talk about Luis Rivera. He pled guilty to second-degree unaliving and was sentenced to 19 years in prison. Okay. He was already in jail at the time for unrelated charges at the time that they started all the trials. Okay. So Louis actually was the person that opened up. Okay. So he was given a lesser sentence because he was the one that opened up. So not only were those 4, but now Donna Adelson, who is Wendy's mother. Remember, Wendy was Dan's former wife. So Donna Adelson, his former mother-in-law, was arrested at the Miami International Airport on a warrant from Leon County. She was flying to Vietnam, a country with no extradition treaty. She's charged with first-degree unaliving, conspiracy to commit unaliving, and solicitation of unaliving. Her trial was originally scheduled to begin in September of this past year, but now it's looking like it's going to be February of 2025 before anything happens. Neither Wendy Adelson, Dan's ex-wife, or her father, Harvey Adelson, have been charged, but both have been named by prosecutors as conspirators in the killing. So it's like they've been doing one trial at a time, guys, with the exception of they did Catherine McBanawa and my mind, Catherine McBanawa and Sigfredo Garcia. They did those for the first trial at the same time, but Catherine McBanawa, Sigfredo came back guilty, but Catherine McBanawa came back as a hung jury. And so since that point in time, they've done each one separately. So then they did, after Sigfredo's, they did Catherine's, and then they did Charlie's, and so now they'll do Donna's, and it makes you wonder if they're still going to go after Wendy and Harvey. Could happen, guys. We don't know. But we're going to talk about the man on the screen. This is I guess they call him Luis Rivera. Okay. They went down the first time to Tallahassee. Sigfredo had called Luis. They were best friends. Okay. Because if any of you remember, Charlie had asked Katie McBanawa to see if she knew anybody that could unalive someone. Okay. So Sigfredo is Katie's baby daddy, right? And so Sigfredo and Luis were going to do this together. Sigfredo got $40,000 and he gave Luis $35,000, and the rest went to Katie. But there's been a lot more money exchanging hands in between that as well, guys. There's been a lot going on in this case that just doesn't stop. So, Lewis was first thought it was a robbery, and then he was told that it was for unaliving this man. He never knew who Dan Markel was, never heard of him, nothing. But he stated that once he found out that it was because the mother of this man's children wanted to get custody of her children and not have to deal with him anymore. He said that he had a hard time thinking of trying to unalive someone because of kids. He said he couldn't do that. So supposedly Sigfredo showed him a photo of Markel on their ride there. And Rivera ended up pleading guilty to second-degree unaliving and was sentenced to a 7-year prison term in exchange for his cooperation with prosecutors. He is currently serving 12 years in federal prison on an unrelated charge. So he's got 19 years total, but it was 7. He got 7 for helping prosecutors with this case. Whether everything he said was true or not, I mean, he did swear, that everything he said was going to be the truth. And there was supposed to be $100,000 in cash waiting once the unaliving was done. Garcia would get $40,000 and promised Lewis $35,000. The rest, and then some, went to Garcia's on and off girlfriend, Catherine McBanois, who she was also a girlfriend of Charlie Adelson as well. So Luis Rivera he drove the car and he drove into Dan Markel's driveway, but he did not commit the unaliving. Okay. He was just along for the ride, supposedly. So I have a little bit, we'll watch a little bit of his interrogation. Okay. You guys can judge for yourself whether you think he's telling the truth. We're only going to watch like maybe 20 minutes or so. It's a long interrogation, obviously, but it kind of gives you an idea of his personality, of his demeanor, and you can determine if you think that he was, being honest, right? So I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to go there. All right.
You can look at the form. Okay, but before we start that, I just want you to raise your right hand. I'm Investigator Craig Eisen with the Tallahassee Police Department. I'm conducting an official criminal investigation concerning a homicide. Any false statements about material matters given by a witness under oath will constitute perjury, which is a first-degree misdemeanor according to Section 837.012 Florida statutes. You already have your right hand raised. You solemnly swear or affirm that the evidence you are about to give me is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that if you knowingly make material misstatements of fact to me during this investigation, you will have committed the crime of perjury?
Yes,
sir.
Yes, that's fine. Lewis, do you have any questions about what the detective just said?
No, sir.
Okay, you understand that if you don't know the answer to a question, it's okay to say, I don't know. If you don't understand.
So the man, as we're looking, he'd be to the right of Lewis, but as we're looking at him, he's on the left. The man that's talking to Lewis right now is his attorney, probably provided by the state. He's just making sure that he's there to protect Lewis's rights. Okay.
And the question. It's okay to say, I don't understand the question. Could you repeat it? All right? The most important thing is that you give truthful information, which I know you will. You don't guess. If you need time to think about something, that's okay. If you intentionally tell a story or you give a statement that you know is not truthful, not only will you have committed a crime of perjury, which is really the least of your concerns, the most important thing is you will no longer have a deal. Okay? All right, now we do know that you have immunity. So, you know, the things that they've asked about you that they haven't got independent of you, they couldn't use against you. You understand that? But that ain't the deal. The deal is we want to tell the truth and do what's right.
Yes, sir.
You understand? That's the point. All right, I don't have any further questions in that regard. And the statement's is being recorded? Yes.
Lewis, the first time that you had a conversation, well, let me start this because I want to make sure I understand this. Did you ever meet or know or hear of Daniel Markell before this occurred?
No.
No?
Speak up loud.
Like if I heard about him,
Did you ever hear of him?
no, not at all.
Never heard of him? Never knew anything about him?
No, sir.
No one's ever mentioned that name before.
No, sir, not at all.
What about Wendy Adelson?
Not at all either.
Anybody else by the last name of Adelson?
No, sir.
Okay. When's the first time, if you can recall, when you first understood that you were going to come to Tallahassee? Because my understanding is you've never been to Tallahassee before.
Never been up here.
Okay. What was the circumstances of the first that caused you to come to Tallahassee the very first time?
I thought the first time I was coming up here, I thought we were gonna come up here and rob somebody. You know? So when I get in the car, that's when Garcia told me, what we coming up here for? Coming up here to kill somebody.
So before you got in the car, you had a conversation with Sigfredo Garcia,
In my house.
Tudo,
Yeah.
at your house, and he says he wants you to go with him to Tallahassee
Yeah.
to do a drug robbery,
My understanding when he was talking to me, first I thought it was gonna be like a robbery.
just a robbery.
I thought it was gonna be a simple robbery. But then I said we kept going on talking about it. That's when he told me, listen, I gotta come up here for a job. I'm finna get hired. We're getting hired, but to kill somebody.
You already left, or is that before you?
No, I was still in my house.
Okay.
I rented a car. We got in the car and he told me more about it. Like, you gonna come out here? I'm gonna kill this guy. You're gonna get paid this much, $35,000. So I looked at him and asked, it's a little bit of money, but all right, whatever. Let's drive. We're driving. He showed me a picture of my.
Okay, so, you know, guys, I understand that the $35,000, if it's given to you, is a lot of money. Is it really enough to put your life on the line to commit unaliving somebody? To me, that, right? I mean, I guess there's no amount of money in the world that anybody would ever get me to do that. But 35,000 measly dollars. And I mean, yes, he ended up just riding along, but still $35,000. That, I mean, even 40,000 for Sigfredo, right? Is that worth it? I mean, Sigfredo's now in prison for life. Was $40,000 worth it? I mean, I don't think so. I do not understand I don't understand that. I'll never understand it. And this is coming from a woman who lives off of Social Security, strictly Social Security. So, you guys, you know, it doesn't matter how poor you are. It really doesn't.
Markel. That's the first time I seen a picture of him and I heard about his name. So he told me his name. This is the guy we're going to go see. His name is Markel. I don't need the name. Forget about the name because I'm not gonna remember the fucking name. Just show me the picture. I just seen the picture and I looked at it. Somebody drove up here. Come up here the first night. We rented a hotel.
I hate to interrupt you, but I do. I want to make sure we're talking about the first trip.
The first trip.
And you rented the car?
No, the car was not under my name.
Okay. Is it a rental car or is
It was a rental car.
a rental car? Who rented the car?
It was Garcia. He came with the car.
He came with the car.
He came with the car.
Who's your place?
He came. I was in my homegirl's house.
Who's that?
Rochelle. He picked me up and I left. You know, he like, yo, what's up?
Guys, listen closely, because this whole conversation that he's having right here, in my opinion, they're having to dig to find out. He's just blurting things out, and then, and then they're having to clarify. And I don't know, to me, it's just, he's supposedly cooperating, right? But it just seems really fishy, in my opinion.
Boom.
So he called you and said, I'm coming to get you?
He already told me the story. He rented a car and came and picked me up that same day.
Okay.
He was like, yo, I'm on my way. He picked me up, I got in the car, I left, went to my house, changed up, got in the car, and we drove.
Okay.
It was like a Wednesday night, I think Wednesday. It was Wednesday.
You knew that the purpose of him renting the car was to drive to Tallahassee with it?
Yes, sir.
So he already told you, I'm going to rent a car, or he shows up and says, I've rented a car?
No, he said, I gotta rent a car. He ready to rent a car. He said, I'm gonna go rent a car, I'll be back later.
So you knew that the story, the first version, is that you're coming up here to rob somebody, he's going to go rent a car.
Yeah.
But it changed to murder before or after he rented the car.
No, before he rented the car. Remember, we was in the house speaking about it.
I just got to be down, I got to get it off.
I don't want you to get me confused and throw me back and forth.
Exactly, I'm not trying to.
So I'm gonna be straight up.
Detective Isom, do you care if I might ask a question
Go
that
ahead.
I think may help? Not right now, I just...
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, I'm fine right now.
And I definitely want him to go through the whole story, but I'm afraid if we get too far down the road,
I
and
get
it's
it.
the fact that,
I agree.
that's all.
When things don't make sense or add up, we got to stop and get to it.
Right.
Okay, how long was it, you said you initially thought that this was going to be a robbery. What gave you that idea? Why did you think it was going to be a robbery?
I'm a jack boy.
Okay,
I rob drug dealers.
okay. So he was talking in terms of a job in Tallahassee.
Sounds pretty proud of that. He robs drug dealers. I'm a jack boy. And, we haven't been very long on this video, but he said when he got in the car, that's when he was told that it was going to be an unaliving. But then he goes back and says that, no, he was told at the house before they left. Which is it?
So I'm thinking we finna go, okay, boom. But then he's like, man, it's not that. I'm finna go kill somebody. We're gonna get hired.
Okay, and this was before he went and rented the car.
Before he rented the car.
Okay, so when he got the car, it was either in his name or somebody else's name.
I don't know whose name was it, but he came with the car he came with the car to my homegirl's house. I was there drinking that night. I jumped in the car, went home.
What kind of car was it?
It was like a black Nissan.
Okay.
It was a Nissan.
And what date was this, as best as you can remember?
I don't remember the date, man.
Will you remember the month and the year?
The one had to be like either June or July.
Okay.
The year was 2014.
Okay. And he showed you a picture of Markel
Markel.
and said y'all were going to go kill him. Now, were you the one that he was intending to go do the murder, or why were you even involved?
Because he told me he trusts me. He said, I trust you, and you're the only one I trust.
But were you the one he was hiring to do the murder? Because I don't understand why you need two people to commit a murder.
They were hiring him.
Okay?
They were hiring him. They were not hiring me. They were hiring him. He said he's gonna pay me to go with him because he didn't want to go by himself.
Okay.
Was Rochelle present when you discussed this with him?
No, not at all. Nobody. It was just me and him.
But it was at Rochelle's house?
No, it was my house.
Okay.
He picked me up at Rochelle's house. I was drinking. Hey, where you at? I said, I'm over here in Rochelle's house. Come slide to him and pick me up. So when he picked me up, I said, all right, let's go to my house. I'm finna go change. He said, I had on shorts, so I put on long pants and a long sleeve. I said, all right, let's ride. Got in the car.
See, I think you can see why the investigators are confused because he was spitting out stuff, but it wasn't making sense. He wasn't going step by step. He's just spitting out stuff, and they had to stop him and go back and ask, which they're very, very patient with him. I wouldn't have been probably as patient. But yeah, it's kind of interesting.
And he drove. I was passing side. I was rolling a blunt, and we drove. I was drinking the whole night, going that way. That's it. When we got to Tallahassee, that's where we need to rent a hotel.
Hold on right there. Hold on. Don't get too far. Where was Rochelle living at the time that he picked you up?
By my house, right, like a block away from my house, on 135th on 16.
Okay, on 135. Okay.
135th on 16.
You know
I'm
what
sorry-
time
I'm
you
sorry
left?
to interrupt.
That's okay. Do you know what time you left?
Like 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock at night.
At night.
Yeah.
So y'all drove through the night.
Yeah.
All the way through the night and got here the
Through
next
the night.
morning.
I got here like around like 6, 5 o'clock in the morning. I believe it was an 8-hour drive.
Okay. Did y'all stop anywhere on the way?
Yeah, we stopped in like on a rest, like the rest area, stuff like that. Take a piss and keep on driving. That's about it.
Did y'all get
Got
gas
gas,
anywhere?
yeah. We got gas and kept going.
How'd you pay for the gas?
Cash.
All cash?
Yeah, he had cash. They gave him like $5 grand, $2,000 in his pocket, and we kept it. We came up here and went to the hotel cash.
What was the hotel? You remember?
I don't know. I forgot the name of the hotel.
The one you drove was fine? You
Yeah.
saw it? You said that's the first place
That
you
was the
stayed
first
at?
hotel I took you to. That one.
Okay.
I stayed there twice. Came up here.
Okay, I don't want to jump ahead of y'all. At some time you meet some other people while you were up here.
Yeah. First we met some guy that night. He rented a hotel.
Was he a black gentleman?
Yeah, it was a crackhead.
Okay.
He was
Just tell us about him. Tell us how that happened.
Yeah, security pulled up. Hey man, what's up, man? I ain't got no ID, man. You do me a favor, rent the hotel. I'm gonna give you $20. Yeah. I'll take $20 right now. So he went, gave me $20, went to the hotel. We stayed that night. I think the room was 110 or 109.
Were y'all doing drugs in the room?
And just to make sure, just want to make sure this is on record, 110 or 109, he's already driven us by, and that is the budget on Wadsworth of Tennessee.
Okay.
Yeah, when I got to the room, we doing drugs. We had powder, we had beer. Well, we had a bottle. We had a bottle in the pocket. We was drinking. We had a bottle. We was chilling all night. I probably went to sleep at around 3. I woke up around 7 that morning. I think it was 7 o'clock the next morning. But when we got there by that time, we slept for a little bit. We check out was at 11. We leave. Went by Markel's house. Went around him. Went straight to his house. I parked by the park like I showed you. I parked there for a little bit to see if it's gonna come out. When he came, I seen the car. I'm the one that scoped the car. I'm like, yo, that's that guy right there. I seen the white male in the car. He's like, yeah, that's him. Let's follow him. So we followed him all the way to the school. He got the kid off. Boom. I lost him. I guess he was going to the gym in that morning, but
How do you know what kind of car he's driving?
because Sigfredo told me the car.
Sigfredo told you the car?
He said he got a black Nissan.
Okay.
No tints. You will see him. Because he already showed me the picture.
So Sigfredo supplied you a picture of Markel, which is the target,
Yes, sir.
and has also told you a type of car that he drives.
Yes, sir.
Does he tell you where that information came from?
No, sir. He just showed me a piece of paper with his name, and I believe that paper had that address, but I remember seeing his face, and so the paper had to have the address.
Was it typed or was it handwritten?
No, it's like that.
Typed?
Yeah.
When he said it was a Nissan, did he say it was a Nissan or did he say it was a black 4-door or a 2-door?
No, he told me it was 4-door Nissan.
Okay,
Just like the car we had, but just in black.
okay. Okay.
Let's back up a little more, a little bit further. You said they gave him $5,000. Tell us about that. What did he say? Where did he get the money from?
Oh, he said he got the money from the lady. He still haven't told me her name yet. He said, I got the money from the lady. Well, his wife gave him the money. So Katie gave him the money. But he told me about the lady. He told me, yo, the lady got the money. She's gonna pay us. So, you know, all this driving around and talking to him about the money, I told him, we should just go rob her. That was my intention. Fuck this guy. I don't got nothing against that guy. I don't even know that guy. Especially after he told me about what was it for the 2 kids. Told me because I asked him, why you gonna kill this guy? Because the lady wants her 2 kids back. She want full custody of them kids. Because he had all the custody. That was the plan, that was the deal. That's where I went to go kill that man for.
And how did Tuda know all this?
Katie, I guess Katie told him everything. Katie told him everything, and then that...
But you're just guessing that. You don't know that for sure. Do you?
No, that's for sure. For sure, Katie told him everything.
Right. How did you know that? How do you know Katie?
Because he stayed talking to Katie on the phone. Hey, babe, what's going on? Hey, the lady's gonna have... You sure she's gonna have the money on time? Tell her don't play with it, because we'll go show up in her house. Tell her she better have that fucking money. And he always kept telling her that.
Because when you went on this trip, were you with Tuda the whole time? Did y'all separate? Y'all were in the same car? Y'all stay in the same hotel room?
Never separated. Stay in the same hotel, different beds.
You were always with him?
Yeah.
So when he talked to Katie, you could hear him talking to Katie?
Of course.
And you knew it was Katie?
I'm right there, right here.
Did you know it was? Did you know it was Katie because of what he was saying, or could you actually hear her voice?
It's Katie. I can hear her voice.
And you had heard it before.
Yeah, I can hear Katie's voice. That's Katie.
So, from everything that we can gather here, he knew that Sigfredo got all the information from Katie, that Katie was the one working with whoever hired them to commit the unaliving. He is saying that he didn't hear the name, but he knew that Katie was the one getting that information. So piece by piece is how this case was put together. I guess that happens with all of them. And then when Katie or Catherine McManawa gave her statement, everything just begins to fall into place. And he may have known more by the end of this interview, but we're not going to watch the whole thing. I encourage you to, I will put the link for the video for the interrogation in the description of this video, because it would just take too many hours to go through all of it, guys. I mean, there is so much to this case. It would take hours upon hours upon hours. I'm just trying to give you the breakdown of what each person's role was in this case. And Luis's role was basically to just be there. In the beginning, though, I think Sigfredo wanted him to do the unaliving, but Luis said no. He wasn't going to do it because he couldn't. He could not unalive somebody knowing that there were kids involved. He said he couldn't do it. But it was okay for him to sit in the car, not to drive, and let Sigfredo do it. I don't know. So, we only have Luis's word, right? So, guys, I don't know, but there's more. There's so much more to come yet. Next up, we have Charlie Adelson's trial, and that will probably be a few videos, guys, because I do want to show some of Luis's testimony. Catherine McVanoa's testimony, you know, in Charlie's trial. I want to also show Wendy Adelson's testimony, right? So, because that's going to give us, that one was huge, and that's going to give us even more information, guys. You know, the bottom line with this case is that this poor man lost his life, and his 2 little boys no longer have a daddy. And from everything that I have read about Dan Markel, he loved and doted on his children. He did. He just adored them. He adored them. And, you know, it's just a sad, sad situation, you know. Gone too soon. Gone too soon. And in my opinion, if she's involved, she needs to stand trial and be judged by a jury of her peers as well. You know, her mom is next. So what's going to happen, guys? There's more to come. I want to leave you with that today. I want to encourage you guys to like, subscribe, even share. Don't forget about Emma Baum and Sebastian Rogers. I share pictures and everything every day. So guys, please share that information out there, because someone knows something in each of those cases. And I know there's more out there, right? I know there's more missing people out there, and my heart goes out to them. So lift them all up in your prayers. And we'll see you on the next. Thank you for watching another episode of Granny's Crime Busters. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe and like and even share the content. You can follow us on any of our other social media platforms at YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We really appreciate you guys, and you can also email us at grannyscrimebusters@gmail.com. Thank you so much, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.